Hey guys, how's it going, man? Today I would like to talk to you about a um, a company that I feel that it was like a little bit of a racist experience in my book. But you guys could be the judge of it. So you could. So my name is Craig. I am a relationship coach, and I want to talk about an experience that I had about interviewing this company. Now I never really worked for this company at all, and I just want to kind of give it a shout out where like literally even the interview was even a little bit racist. At least I feel the very pressure of racism there. Now I have worked in other software companies that um, that are mostly 99% white, and and given also context that this was done back in 2006. So this company, Benefit Focus, has gone through many type of changes, as I would expect, as they also have went public back in 2013. So I'm sure a lot of shakeups were had to be done, if they were too far away from the regular like normal demographics, then it would have been fixed. So here's the quick story about this company. And I think like they still had used the same campus, like looking like this. It's basically like an all glass building. So when I went in back in 2006, I mean, there's really no secret, what I'm saying? I'm just sharing my experience, and maybe some people will agree or disagree on this. What is this building? This actually building is actually a lot nicer than it might be. I don't know if it's this one, but but back in the days it was an all glass building. It's basically 100% transparent, and so I went in. The lady sat me down. It's a very nice looking lady. She's white, blonde, around in her 40s. She got her headphone like on, so she's looks very professional. You know what I'm saying? Looks very serious. One of those Logitech um, like Jabra. At the moment that was the big thing. So, and she sat me down, wrote. There was like a clipboard I needed to write on, was I convicted, a felon, and things like that. Blah blah blah. And so I just waited, and then so I walked up um, this campus, and it's a fairly sizable campus. I don't think it was this one. I don't know if they actually changed the address or not, but maybe they did. And it was an all glass building. So basically, like while I was walking up, I could see every single floor that was like going on. And most people did not have this. They did not have like a couple of black people, because this is exactly what they want you to think, that they are diversity. There was no diversity. Actually, there was 100 out of 100, that like even the tech support and the people there, the tech support, the people that actually answers the phone were white. So that's like kind of weird to me, because usually in these all white companies, the tech support are composed of any other. It could be anybody that could speak on the phone and things like that. But for them, was 100% white. So I sat down. I saw what was like going on. I was getting a little bit nervous because I realized this is a 100% all white company, including tech support. And I think to myself, like this might not be a very good day, but at least I want to give it a try. At least I want to people to know that I could have expressed myself. So I think on that day I already knew that it wasn't gonna go well, or I could take the lowest type of package there was. Like I don't mind it, because at the time I just really wanted to work. I don't really need anything. I just needed, you know, basic packages, and I think my plan in my head is that after I should try to take this job, after a couple months later, I'll find something else, or maybe a year later, I'll find something else. So I never thought about that I would have a long-term relationship if they don't need me, so I would be open-minded to be in all types of positions. So I went in, and then the man who's the HR, so the guys was the HR. I think the hiring manager was the lady, and they asked me a lot of the basic questions, uh, like my experiences, where I am, where did I go to school, just basic what this role is about, just basic things, like the conversation is going okay. I could clearly hears like where the flow was going, and it's a normal conversation. So all these things are all very good up until there's an older guy who's around 49 years old or 50 something years old, an older gentleman. He's not fat. He's a little bit skinnier, and he's balding. He got a dress shirt on. And on that day, FYI, I was dressing okay. I wasn't dressing stellar. I got a beige suit, and a khakis pants. So I think it's acceptable. I think it's not bad at all. So when he walked in, he's already didn't look at me in the eye, and just sat right down, and like just look at the resume, and said like I cannot recall like a lot of like what he ask me first, but I recall there were a couple of embarrassing questions, such as he asked me about the GPA. So I told him about my GPA, and then he said it wasn't very good, and then I said like and then he said like was school hard for you? You know what I'm saying? So things like that. So I just said, well, school wasn't really hard. It's just like I did very good in the beginning, and then but later I kind of try to explore other courses, and also at the same time I got into tennis. So um, I think it was my last chance if I actually could do something at that sport at the time. So that's why I got like a little bit sidetracked. But I think that would have probably been a better answer, because I didn't say it was for tennis. Like I actually said something else. But I think he might would have played it, or all, some of his friends would have played it. It would have been a lot better if I actually have said that. Maybe he was into golf, maybe things like that. So I think like I cannot blame like the guy for everything. I think it'll be kind of unfair. But then obviously I cannot say he's a racist, but he's definitely a jerk. What I'm saying? Because like these type of questions, you would definitely make um, people feel really embarrassed about a lot of things. And then so like I think a typical question would be like the GPA wasn't as high as I expected it to be. Like you could tell me which year you did better, which year did you not do good, and we could talk about it. I mean, that's the thing. Like I think that would be the proper way of handling things, because you don't really know everything about that person. You want to know the whole story, right? So that's what I think about what it should be. A real better interview. And then later, he asked me like an IQ question about the red ball, blue ball kind of thing. I forgot what it was. Like it was. It seems like it was kind of random. It's just like it wasn't very set up nicely. And I think like if there were any type of real good setup, and then I could write it down and try to work it out, it would be a lot better. Because I remember there were other like IQ questions on my other jobs, and it was pretty well listed. Like and and I would exactly know try to work it out. I mean that's how it is. Like you want to see the candidate how to work things out either in their heads or in the room. So that's at the end of the day, that's not about shouting it out, but try to working it out. But I mean, of course, like because the ongoing climate is actually getting worse and worse because he's asking more embarrassing question and chuckling at the wrong moments definitely, and like to me, I'm getting even more nervous, and like obviously that's not gonna be good at in your 20s because like 20s and nervousness in the 20s is definitely the most horrible. You know what I'm saying? Like in the 40s, we just don't care. But like almost to the point where like I really need to a sip of water. You know what I'm saying? Where he's like really grilling on me, and then I think after the IQ test, I think there was just like a lot of interruptions and things like that, and not really look at people in the eye, and it seems like there are some. He didn't say any ethnic stereotype at all, but there was just a lot of disrespect, in gestures and the way they are, and quite honestly, if he have saw the name or like saw the, I don't know if like maybe they just didn't give him the name. Maybe HR never gave him the name, just gave him like a resume. Because if you actually don't look at my name very carefully, it could be mistaken like as a regular American name. So that thing could also be problematic, when he actually saw the person, what I'm saying? Like that is not what he thought it was. So I don't really mind it. I know like I'm not 100% real American, and look, if it frustrates people to talk to me and things like that, where I might be incompetent or my language um, expertise might not be up to your par, then I think it's okay. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it was like that. It felt like it was something personal. So uh, after he talked a little bit, he was late to the interview. He was rude. He doesn't look at you in the eye, and he stereotypes and makes fun of you. You know what I'm saying? And oh yeah, I also asked one question I remember very vividly. It's like, so if there's something that you don't know, who do you ask? And I said like, well, I mean, you would actually look at the documentations, um, whether this module does it work like this or not, or like how it should be working. You gotta find information. You gotta find it somewhere, right? And he says like, oh, we don't have a lot of that. You know, and I mean, that doesn't really give people any right way of answering. So I think he kind of purposely wanted me to fail the interview. You know what I'm saying? So if I guess at the moment, I mean, at that age, I'm just too junior to argue with him because as an expert like in the field, you have to have documentations at the end of the day if you wanted to carry out anything, and like you wanted to confirm anything. There needs to be anything written, even if like I have to write it or somebody else has to write it. It has to be some kind of confirmation. So it cannot be just out of the blues you do something, because it is a company. We have regulations, we have things, protocols that we have to adhere. So what you're trying to say is actually invalid. So I mean, anyway, so what I wanted to say is that like I mean, from every single way I could think of is that they were definitely discrimination, because I looked up, like I think it was Glassdoor or something like that. Just it was something that it was a lot of reviews about the people that actually have worked there. They said it was very just 100% all white. It was, and also I think if you are definitely not white, then there's really nowhere to go. But that's back in 2006. So yeah, I mean, it is the only company that I felt extremely like there's something wrong. You know what I'm saying? There's something eerie about the attitude. And so he got up and left, and then so going back to the female hiring manager and the HR, and they both looked at each other, sort of like in semi disgust. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow, that was like, they didn't say anything, but it was like, wow, that was the worst interview, or like somebody that got really mad. Um, worst interaction between the candidates and the I guess one of the guys, one of the senior guys. Instead, so the HR try to calm it and saying like, obviously, he's like that. He's always like that. So making sure that I don't really want to build a case or something like that to kind of sue them or something like that. But I think nowadays I wouldn't care. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays I definitely would definitely sue them if that actually happened today. But I mean, as you could see, I mean, like most people here, I didn't see one black person at all while I was there. I was trying to walk slower, the entire time to actually see if there are anybody that's not white. So I don't really know the competency. I don't really have any data, about like whether these people have competencies they really hire based on competencies or based on what. So I've really no idea. And obviously, this company did grow a lot, and they have been sold to somebody else like later. And I mean, at the time, I have to say, like, I mean, I wouldn't be in the conversation table for any type of private equity or anything like really that special. You know what I'm saying? But um, yeah, I worked in two, three other software firms before in America, and yeah, I mean nobody was like that at all. I mean everybody just try to carry on their business. If you have value to bring in, great. If we cannot work out, then it's bad. We don't have to shame people and things like that. But I don't know. It seems like there was something personal that he doesn't like, whatever it is. So I have absolutely no idea like why this happened. And yeah, I mean, even to this day, I mean, I still get a little bit. Um, I just thought about that day how badly it kind of went, and definitely caused me a little bit of distress overall. But I mean, like, it's hard to say. I mean, you have to kind of pinpoint like exactly did he talk about like my ethnicity, but he did not. So that was a move that he could definitely pull and kind of get away with it. But was it like, do I feel there was like discrimination? Do I feel like, he was prejudging me? Or do I feel like there was, um, a strong dislike? Yeah, man, it's freaking huge dislike um, from this guy. So I have to say, it's not every single person in that company was bad because obviously I've met the front lady, I've met the front desk lady, I've met the HR, I've met the hiring manager. They all were normal. You know what I'm saying? At least they try to carry out a normal conversation. It's only that senior guy. So yeah, I mean back in the days I should have gotten his name, man. I mean I would have definitely have done something. But I mean quite honestly, today I wouldn't really care because it's not a huge company. It's like they did get listed on BNFT, but they ceased trading after they sold it to a private equity company. So whatever that means, maybe I mean obviously the listing is not helping them anymore. That's why they've been delisted. And so yeah, I don't really know. I mean, many things, you know. So, but I'm not gonna lie to you. But also, I do get like a little bit of I could, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's the way I look. Like I could tick people off. Maybe I don't know, man. But there seems like more evidence at the time to point to that. Like there are definitely some people in core the core team of that company. It's probably not gonna like anybody that's not white. At least at that time. Now that you could scroll around and LinkedIn, there would be Indian guys, black people, and stuff like that. But it's still a very small percentage compared to a majority of all of them because they got obviously they went public, so they have to start hiring, like, cannot be, 100% all white. You know what I'm saying? There will be sooner or later. I mean, I guess nobody really had sued them. Wonder if anybody has sued them. Sued benefit focus. Oh, okay, so that makes a lot of sense. So, Benefit Focus has been involved with legal issues, including a security fraud class action settlement for $11 million in the late 2020, a lawsuit from a former employee, ADP, in 2021 for alleging in their new CEO stolen trade secrets. There's been an IP lawsuit by Paylogix LLC in 2018, although details are limited, provided snippets. So I'm sorry, this is by AI, but I guess there probably were a lot of these type of um, lawsuits. There probably were a lot, and I think because there are so many, they can no longer. I think I know the reason why they actually got delisted. I think it's because in the SEC there are actually you have to meet a um, certain type of criteria, and there's certain audits that you need to do in order to continue to be listed in the Nasdaq. So I think with all these lawsuits and obviously not performing really well and shady practices, yeah, I mean that's what, like, it can happen. Like, that's what it happens. So I guess in a way they got what's sort of what they deserve. So I don't really know like the whole story, but like I'm sure there are a lot of like dirty people there, and I mean in every single company there are dirty people. So like I don't really know. Let's see if there are any like news about them like today. It's been like 20 something years, so like I don't really know if there's any legitimate like lawsuits that I could file from this. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there isn't really a lot of like negative things here, but for sometimes like actually these really shady companies, they actually hire companies to show off or like get rid of a lot of these negative news to so that they won't be in the headlines when people search for things. I think considering the fact that they have so many 570 million I kind of doubt that they would be worth that much. But sure, whatever they think it's worth. I mean, I've seen like what is it like other um was it Viber? I think Viber sold for 700 million. So to me, I think Viber is probably a better company than Benefit Focus, but it's hard to say. Yeah, I mean, overall, it's that yeah, it's definitely not like a nice company. At least if you have somebody that communicates or talk to people that way in a public way, I mean, sooner or later it's gonna backfire. So I cannot find obviously the guy that we chatted with, and yeah, I think back in the days I should have taken more actions. But I was a kid, so that's why they kind of bullied me. I mean, today nobody would bully you because you'll be interviewing for maybe some kind of C-level type of position or a senior position. So, yeah, I mean, overall, I don't really. I mean, I guess I do have a grudge, So don't get me wrong, I do have a grudge because like it's we're not talking about a where I am begging for a job or like we're just interviewing. So interviewing means that we're trying to get to know each other and in America I think like we are what's called equal. So I don't think like I'm less than somebody else because I I'm looking for a job. So that's why I think overall this was a negative experience. And I mean, I wouldn't say like I could forgive. I definitely don't think like it's forgivable. It's definitely um you're kind of like systematically trying to mock people, really. And at the end of the day, I mean, like, I think definitely back in the days I should have gotten all the evidence, maybe even have recorded it. I should have secretly maybe recorded it or things like that, see if there's anything that we could have done. That's what I would do. Anyways, talk to you guys later.